Usually, it's good practice in security presentations that you start by scaring everybody, right? You start by scaring everybody that's saying that doom is happening. Now, the previous keynote speakers did actually an excellent job. So, uh, Jabu, she talked about what the hackers are doing, how the hackers are actually bringing down digital and physical infrastructure. The previous speaker from Cloudflare talked about how AI is also a doom thing and how AI is also very dangerous. So, I thought, watching all this, maybe I should start with a love story. I see some young people here in the audience. Yeah, I think so. So imagine you meet a partner and you have a potential thinking about a new love relationship, and I'm pointing out at you, Carla. In fact, so what used to be the way to test a relationship, let's say 5 years ago, you had to participate in Temptation Island or Love Island or something just to see how strong your connection was with your partner. These days, the current generation, they seek their relationship advice with ChatGPT, right? So if they meet somebody, they try to see with ChatGPT if actually the partner they met is actually worthwhile dating, right? I told this story to BT last week, and the guy told me that in the UK, ChatGPT is forbidden to give relationship advice by law, right? So I haven't tested myself in Belgium whether this is still true. Now I'm married for 20 years, so I think the warranty is already over, so I cannot complain anymore. Now, that being said, all the stuff that Balu talked about on the keynote, it's actually what we are seeing in the network, right? So all the hackers, we actually see them in our telecommunication networks. And it's really something that took off big time over the last year and a half, right? So the first thing, Balu was from the Netherlands, so she talked about the Netherlands. We saw governments giving warnings about DDoS attacks, right? This is a snippet from the Dutch government, but basically you could get your snippets from anywhere. All governments were seeing political action and DDoS attacks. Now, Sol Typhoon was mentioned before. The scary thing for service providers was that they infected or they intruded in our lawful intercept systems from some non-Nokia routers, I can say, just to be sure for those customers who did buy Nokia routers, you're all safe. So, but there were some other routers who were sort of invaded by the Sol Typhoon intrusion, and they were there in the network also for more than a year. So for more than a year, they were able to listen in on all conversations. Now, AI, as was explained in the previous keynotes, is these days being used to much easier find those DDoS attacks or find those. So if you just say, if you have a camera that you want to hack, you just have to type in the camera type and AI will give you the brand, it will give you the coding, it will give you the vulnerability. So you don't need highly trained, nerdy, scientific software engineers. Basically, anybody who can type in natural language can become a DDoS hacker, right? So it's, as we heard, a very good business to be in. Now, what we saw, let's say 6 months ago, is our Nokia emergency response team. It's a number of nerdy security slash hacker type of guys who are looking to see what's happening in the network, right? So 6 months ago, a little bit more already, they detected what they have been branded the 1111 botnet. All these security guys, if you're the first to detect a botnet, you can give it a name, right? And usually it tends to be very cool names. That's what they're into. Now, this botnet was actually an infection of a whole bunch of webcams which were apparently very popular in Brazil and US. All the petrol stations and all kind of stores in the US were using those cameras, and they were doing obviously filming of the recording of the location, but most of their time they spent doing DDoS attacks, right? And the fun thing with this, well, the fun, the thing with this one was that this DDoS attack was actually from, it didn't exist on Monday, and it was full speed ahead on Tuesday. So the time it takes for these DDoS attacks these days to get from nowhere, from unknown to full force is basically very, very short. It's from one day to another, the attack is there. Now, our solution, I'll talk about how exactly it works. So it's not a promo talk for the solution, but I will explain how it works because it's important to understand how to stop DDoS attacks these days. We were able to see the attack and stop the attack, right? Now, not all of our, well, not the whole industry is using our solutions to mitigate DDoS. And one of the persons who was not using our DDoS mitigation solution was Elon Musk. So this attack actually hit Twitter, now called X, and Elon was blaming Ukraine, he was blaming Russia, he was blaming the whole world basically. But this attack was done by a 22-year-old unemployed man from Oregon, right? So he was just sitting there having a multi-billion business basically on his own, sharing his capabilities, and people could actually rent his talent to attack websites like the ones from Elon Musk. Now, that was 6 months ago. Last month ago, we detected a phenomenon which we call RIS Hydra, which is our sort of our fancy name for a botnet attack, which is composed from many different components. So usually when people attack something, they don't only do volume-based attacks, they also combine it with other types of attacks. So usually the volume of packets is to keep the IT department busy, right? So they keep the IT department busy while they're doing something more sneaky to really get into the company or into the target they want to hack basically. Now, what was special about this bot was again the size. So it was really a potential of 100 million sources. So 100 million sources. That's a lot. Right? So the actual attack sources that they were doing was about 100,000. So the previous one, like just 6 months ago, was 40,000 sources. This was 100,000 sources. So 100,000 sources sending traffic, right? Now, but what's also special here, and that's what Balu also talked about, is that this was done by people installing applications. So people were encouraged to install applications on their website, on their laptop, to actually earn some money. Bitcoins is a very good invention for everything illegal, right? So they were making money by just allowing others to use their laptops or computers to do these DDoS attacks. Also, a lot of attacks were from those Fire Sticks that you can buy in the shop, which were made in China, and they came with pre-installed malware. So people have been buying thousands and thousands and thousands of these Fire Sticks, which you plug in your TV and you can play all kind of legal and illegal movies, all pre-installed with malware. So Google is actually suing the guys who are doing this, so that's something which is ongoing. Now, why am I talking about these ways of attacking is because the current ways to detect DDoS attacks is always looking for synthetic traffic, looking for traffic which is abnormal. And that's a bit what Balu was also saying, is that this traffic, this type of attack is basically normal traffic. You cannot distinguish that type of attack traffic from normal traffic. So it's very hard for a DDoS device to look at malfunctions in packets. That's not there, right? So it's really normal traffic that you and me do on a daily basis, right? So this was, as again, after 6 months, 10 to 100 times bigger than the previous one. So we were at 3 tera. Now then this month, we had attacks which were up to 33 tera. So when I was building the slide, 33 tera was like the new record. So there are some companies who keep announcing what's the biggest DDoS attack, which is part of the reason why people do this type of DDoS attacks is because those security companies announcing we found a new record, like we do here, it's good publicity for the hacker, in fact. So that's how he gets his customers also. So anyway, so we saw these attacks of 33 tera. So 33 tera, imagine a country like Belgium, we don't do 33 tera of internet traffic, right? So 33 tera of traffic, this is a capacity to bring down a country, right? So very few countries have that type of size of internet traffic. 33 tera. Remember that date because when I made the slide and on my way here, they told me, no, it's 44 tera. So the current record, you have to scratch this if you get the slides, we are at 44 tera. So I cannot say from where or who or what, it's still a secret, non-public thing. So this attack was to the Valve, so guys into gaming, you know, the gaming guy and Valve and PlayStation. That was that attack. So what you're seeing here is two peaks because they also change the DDoS traffic. So they change the DDoS traffic while they're doing. So from large packets to small packets, all these things, they are testing really how to avoid detection. So again, like on the previous one, we found it on day 0 and we mitigated at day 0. Right? Now, what's special about this also is that, so this one was longer, this was a couple of hours, but we see many of them are less than 5 minutes. So you might wonder, why are people doing a DDoS attack for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, right? So what we believe is happening is that somebody is trying to show the power. So somebody is trying to show to the world, this is what we can do, right? So it's marketing for the hackers, but it's also a show of power.